good to be back with you again.
Hi, Pamela, Elaine. How are you?
I am doing fantastic.
Good.
Happy post Easter Resurrection Sunday, if that's something that you do or
Yes, happy
celebrate.
happy holidays, happy Easter, resurrection. Yes, I do acknowledge. I used to be a chief diversity officer at a medical school. So for 3 years, it was my job to be very aware of all of the religious
Yeah.
and cultural um, holidays. And it was a great experience for me because I got to learn more or refresh. I studied all of the religions when I was getting my bachelor's in sociology, but it was a nice refresher to be able to experience in real time and observe the various religious holidays in real time with the medical students. So, yes, happy Easter or Resurrection Day to everyone who celebrates.
Every time I talk to you, Erica, I swear I learned something new and exciting about you. I mean,
Okay.
I remember you telling me that you were a chief diversity officer. I didn't know it was at a medical school.
Oh,
That's the first thing, and then nor did I no, nor did I recognize or realize that knowing all of the different types of things that people celebrate is absolutely important to your job. I guess it makes sense, right? It makes sense, but that means you have a wealth of knowledge about these kinds of things that I just think is so fascinating.
yeah, I didn't realize. Well, I have to accept that I don't randomly share as much, but it comes out. Just you bring things out of me.
Ah, okay,
So,
kind of cool.
um, yeah, that was. And I remember when I was considering the job, I learned this after the fact, of course, that um, that I beat out some people who had doctor's degrees for the position, and because when I got there, I was like, "What is this little rumble I feel in the atmosphere?" Um, and someone shares like, well, they were people with doctorate degrees. And shout out to everyone with a doctorate degree.
Mhm.
But I only have an MBA in human resource management and my bachelor's is in sociology.
Only, yeah.
Right. And and they were just was unsure, how I got selected over someone with a doctor's degree. And the what put me over the edge
Yeah.
was my, bachelor's in sociology,
Mhm.
and I was able to speak. I had a series of interviews, over a week or 2, had to visit the campus several times and all of the things and do a presentation, all of the things,
Mhm.
for a C-suite, level executive
Mhm.
position, that you would know is required. And, but yeah, what I did in my interview process and my presentation, what I presented was my, my diverse, education and experience with different religions and cultures. And so I showcased that. And,
Well, it really makes a whole lot of sense, to me, even more, about your depth and breadth, especially in the sociology space, because it fits so well with the your human design
mhm,
expertise. And many people probably don't know about human design. Um, And of course, I don't purport to know a whole lot about it either. That's why you're here, so you can talk about it. But what I want to share from a novice's perspective is what I've learned from you is the nuances and the intricacies of human design in all the gates and the channels and the sun, the moon, the stars are
yeah,
that you have to understand in order to help someone understand what their human design type is, why it matters, and how it functions in their lives or how it could function in their lives. And that's why we're here again today to talk a little bit more about human design and emotional intelligence and how it can be useful in managing or reducing conflict in relationships, specifically the relationships of marriage that too often and maybe unnecessarily lead to divorce. So you say I bring things out of you, I'm
you
gonna bring out of you.
do.
a conversation and we're gonna pick apart a little bit human design misunderstanding or lack of knowledge about it in relationships and marriages and in how that misunderstanding or lack of understanding can lead to divorce and then what we can really do about it and I'm going to sprinkle in here and there the love languages that I think, unfortunately, many couples are not aware of. And if they are, they don't know how to speak the language of love to their partner. So, with that introduction, Erica, that was a long introduction, wasn't it? But with that introduction, I want to talk about let's just first, for those who don't may not be familiar with human design, let's just on a fifth grade level explain again what human design is and why it matters. And then we'll go into it a little bit more as it relates to relationships.
Human design is a social science. It's one of the tools I use. It's my favorite tool that I use to help people understand themselves so they can understand their assignment in life.
Mhm,
So we won't go through life just aimlessly.
mhm,
Helps you understand your purpose, helps you understand your energy. Um, and it's a pattern recognition system. What it does, it combines the intelligence of several different other systems. So, first, it taps into the Chinese I Ching.
mhm,
This book was written, I Ching means changes, behavioral changes. This
mhm,
book was written 5,000 years ago. So, clock that because today is 2026, right? So this book was written 5,000 years ago, and it categorized human behavior into 64 different changes that everyone's go through that is universal. So it takes that and then it borrows from, it includes, I should say, astrology.
mhm,
Then it also includes the Hindu chakra system. People are familiar with that when they do yoga and they align and they breathe in their chakra. They are literally, or you get acupuncture, right? You're literally tapping into your energetic meridians. Um, as you just found out, I was the CDO at a medical school, and the doctors are learning about acupuncture and your energetic meridians, chakra in the medical school.
mhm,
And so also quantum physics, lots of
mhm,
math, and just I take that human design, which is the science specifically of differentiation. Specifically, you said nuances. So as a social scientist, I study people as a whole and as a group and how they behave in their environments. What human design allows me to do is zoom in on one person and explain to that person why they move the way they move and how they're designed and how to leverage their potential so they can interact and communicate with the people they live with and love and work with better.
And I'm gonna add in there having, gotten a human design analysis from you that 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 you also help them understand where they're banging their head up against a wall
Well, I
because
was trying to be positive.
yes, I appreciate that. And for me, it was really eye-opening because I was trying to because of the frustration that I had been feeling for decades, that I couldn't seem to accomplish some of the goals I want to accomplish. I couldn't seem to have the same energy to keep going like an energetic bunny that other people seem to have, and they would get things done. And I was like, well, how come they're there and I'm not? And that analysis helped me understand where I was self-defeating. Now, with that said, I if you could also share what are those 5 different human design types and just a little bit of definition about each one.
Sure. So just like we all have a blood type, we all have an energy type. Like I said, the doctors are learning about it in medical school. Chinese medicine, you go and do acupuncture, right? So this is not something amazing new. It's been here
Mhm,
before humans have been here,
mhm,
right? We just not taught about it in grade school. or even in college if you're not majoring in something that's applicable to it. So we all have fingerprints. We also have an energetic blueprint.
Mm,
And that's what that is. And so there are 5 types, just like there are I forget how many blood types there are, but they are
yeah.
5 human design energetic types that
Mhm,
every
mm,
human being falls under one of these 5 types. So, I'll start with manifestor. You're a manifestor. Manifestors are here to initiate, and to, create new things that the rest of the types respond to as they go through life.
mm,
The next types, generator and manifesting generator, they're separate, but they both are generator, meaning they have the sacral chakra center or the human design center really activated and just connected all the time. Their battery is always on. So once a manifester like yourself has a bright idea or an urge to do something, you will put that energy out into the atmosphere. You'll tell someone about your great idea or you'll make a move. And then the generator and the manifesting generator will respond to it. That's their energetic way to communicate and interact with others. So they're just busy living their lives. A manifestor makes a move or does something, and they're like, hey, that is a great idea. I want to bring that to life. And so it gives them something to build and work on, to their heart's content. Now,
mhm,
70% of the population on Earth are generators and manifesting generators.
mm,
About 10% are manifestors.
mhm,
My type is called a projector. So it's about 25% of us. And we are like the manifestors. We do not have our battery is not always moving, like you were saying a few moments ago. Like, why can't I keep up? Why can't I finish stuff? Because you're not a generator or a manifesting generator. That's their job.
mhm,
So projector, like manifester, and the fifth type called a reflector. Um, as a projector, I am here to not be in the work with the manifesting generators and the generators, or even the manifestors not doing the thing. I'm here to zoom out, look at it, and help people work
mm,
smarter instead of harder.
mhm,
It's literally my job to see things, to see what the other people are too close to it to see.
mhm, mhm,
And then the reflector makes up about 1% or even less than 1% of the population. Like the name implies, they are there to reflect back what's happening in real time. So at the job, this would be like the evaluator coming in, or if you're building a house, this is the inspector coming in and see how things are going. Um, and
mhm,
so when all types are working as they're energetically designed to thrive, whether it's in a family or on a team or in a marriage, you say we're going to be talking about marriage and divorce today. So one-on-one relationships, if you understand your type first, and then understand the type of the person you are working with or living with, um, everyone works in harmony better.
okay. And I love this because it's so hopeful to me that if couples understand individually their design type, human design type, and their partners, it can cause it can be the foundation of a very peaceful and fulfilling relationship. Now, with that said, I want you to, if you will, describe what each type is in a relationship. And I'm gonna kick it off by saying, in a relationship, a manifester like me,
Okay.
I come off to my partner as flighty. She's always changing her mind. She's here today and somewhere else tomorrow.
Okay.
Um, you think you're on the path. You think we've all agreed to go this way, and then all of a sudden they're off this other way, right?
Yeah.
And for some, that is extremely annoying. And
Yeah.
so at the same time, I also want to say on the other side of the coin, the manifestor in your relationship is that person who always has these amazing ideas and thinks outside the box. And either you appreciate that thinking outside the box or you're really annoyed with it because you like tradition and things always staying the same. So that's the manifester to both sides of the coin
Mhm.
in a relationship. Can you talk about a generator in a relationship and how that generator might come off or come across to their partner? And we'll go through the other ones.
Sure. So, in the scenario you just gave, the person who would be kind of agitated or irritated by the sudden shifts or the constant changes would be the traditional generator. Generators, when they are turned on to something, when they say yes to something, I'm going to get into this relationship, I'm going to build this business, I'm going to do this thing, they like to do it step by step. So the word you used was like traditional. So whatever it is, they like to take it step by step.
Mhm, mhm,
So ideally, from their perspective, once the manifester initiates them into a new idea, a new reality, a new concept, and they literally turned on, they could feel the energy in their body like a light switch got turned on, and
mhm,
they have their directives and they're set on it. They just want to go do their thing,
mhm,
and working on that satisfies them. So be it again, be in their relationship or business. So when someone comes in, or that same person comes back in, it's like, actually, plot twist, cancel, never mind, I changed my mind.
mhm.
They're like, I know you lying.
You said, "What?"
Because I just went, did all this research, bought all these supplies, did all the things. I changed my, my social media status. I put you on my bank account. I done told my auntie about you, and
Yeah, yeah.
that really gets on their nerves.
Mhm.
Now I want to bring in manifesting generator. So imagine, you know what a manifester is, you know what a generator is. There's a type that those two energies are in one person.
Mm.
So that person can sometimes confuse their own selves.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But they are the most my daughter, I have a generator, a traditional generator, and I have a manifesting generator. So raising these types and watching this every day in real life,
Mhm.
as my real life case studies
Yeah.
has been amazing.
Yeah.
And I can see the difference in the two. So my manifesting generator can have an idea. She has her own urges, her own ideas, and she has the capacity to make it happen on her own.
Mhm.
She doesn't have to wait for a generator or hope a generator is interested in her idea. It's really fascinating. It's really cool. So even so in a relationship, knowing that you're a manifesting generator is, what I teach her. She's in her late teens.
Mhm.
So, social life is everything right now.
Right.
And so knowing that she's a manifesting generator, she's very aware of how she approaches friendships and relationships. And she tells people, she's like, hey, I might have this great idea, or I may say yes to it. This is one of her early aha moments when I taught her about her design a couple of years ago. One of her early aha moments is like, oh, this is why I changed my mind, because she would feel guilty when someone would invite her to a party or out to the skating rink or to do something.
Yeah.
Um, and then she was like, yes, that's, her generator turned on. Yes. And then when it got time to go, the manifestor said,
No.
no,
Mhm.
no.
Yeah.
And manifestors hate being told what to do.
Yes. I hate
Hate being told what to do. So she said her generator said yes, but then she's like, "Okay, I'm coming to pick you up." She like, I'm not going skating. I
Mhm.
don't wanna do that."
Mhm.
And they're like, "Whoa." So being able to tell her friends and explain that, like, "This is how I move, I don't mean any harm," it has helped her, friendships and relationships, so
Yes, and I would, add to that for in sort of like a romantic relationship, like in a marriage is in conflict, on the rocks. That manifestor generator may come off as the person who, "I don't need anybody's help. I can do this
yeah,
all myself. I don't need you to help me with this. I can do it myself." And that could be extremely off-putting for another design type to want to engage with and be a part of the ideas. And we're gonna buy a house and we want the house to look this way, or we're designing a house, and well, I can design the house and I can help make the house become a reality. You don't have a partnership. You feel like you're not part of a partnership. That's
Yeah,
something that certainly can come across unintentionally in the manifestor generator energy type.
you
Okay.
got it.
Now, what
Yes.
about what is it like in a relationship to be with a projector? And you can definitely speak specifically to that, being a projector yourself.
Yeah, like, well, I love it here, because, my husband is a projector, as well, lucky me. Everyone needs a projector because remember, the projector is the person that is, um, zoomed out
Mhm,
and can see things that you can't see because you're in the midst of building the thing and doing the things. Um, and so that's what I do for other people. So being in a relationship with a projector, people feel very seen
mhm,
is what I most often get. So whether it's romantic or platonic or professional, um, people appreciate like, wow, you can see me. You understand me.
mm,
But if you're not in a place where you are in a mindset of self-love or self-discovery, you don't want to be seen,
mm, mhm,
right? And
mhm.
so you don't want to
Did I lose? Did we lose one another, Erica? Well, I don't see Erica, or I don't hear her, but in case I'm heard and Erica can hear me, I'm going to jump in and say something about the projector in conflict. And you can come back on, Erica, and tell me that, correct me since you're the expert here. Sometimes in a relationship, a projector can come off as detached. All right, she'll come back in. A projector, just think about if you're in a relationship with a projector, they may come off as detached, disinterested. They don't quite see you. They maybe even ignore you.
even partner.
Okay, well, you're back.
Oh, I left.
Well, you left me. Maybe I left, but I,
Okay.
I didn't see you for maybe 45 seconds.
Wow.
So I kept talking. And what I said about a projector that you can definitely correct in a relationship when there's conflict is the projector may come off as that person who's detached, who doesn't really see you, doesn't really see his or her partner, and may seem aloof to by their partner, and that could be extremely discomforting when you're in a relationship with a projector who doesn't quite appreciate or know their projector style and type.
Well, yes, and I'm glad you said that because I do want to offer a nuance here. So, a projector who's not aware that they're a projector, an unaligned projector, they're showing up in a relationship as a generator, manifesting generator, or manifester because they don't know because they're trying to finish the thing, participate in the rat race,
Mhm.
do all the things. And so it doesn't feel comfortable to anyone. And so the person in a relationship with a projector who doesn't know that they're a projector, they may be saying, "Wow, you don't see me. You're so
Mhm.
distant." And the reason they're saying that consciously because their subconscious and unconscious is energetically telling them this person is supposed to be able to focus on you and
Mm,
and look at you. So the person is like, "Well, why aren't you here?" An aligned projector, an aware projector looks at people all day, zoomed out, especially in a relationship, we zoom in.
mhm,
With my clients, I zoom in on them. So when they invite me in to look at their human design chart, I literally like energetically scan them, like an X-ray, look at their chart, and I'm able to translate it into behaviors for them.
mhm,
And so they appreciate that. And so in relationships, when you have an aligned and aware projector, it's like, oh, you see me. No one has ever understood me like you do before. So
mm,
that's the enlightened um, part of being in a relationship with a projector, that you always have someone to offer guidance, good advice, you know, uh, they're going to offer their relationship a better way to build the mousetrap, a better way to remodel the home.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So again, every side has two sides to every coin. So
Yeah.
be aware that they're always going to see things.
Mhm.
So you have to accept, well, sometimes they're just going to say them, even though you may not be ready to hear the guidance or the elevation or the improvement. And
Oh,
so
so that means to me that sometimes the projector in the not self, the projector in conflict, um, would you say they're kind of the ones that are rather opinionated, or would that be the reflector, which we haven't gotten to yet? Like
well, just unsolicited advice. It's not
unsolicited.
really yeah. Yeah, they'll give
We all
unsolicited
have someone, we've all been in partnership most likely with someone where there is unsolicited advice, and that can cause a huge conflict in a relationship. I didn't ask you, I just need you to hear
yes,
what I'm saying. I don't need your opinion. I just need you to hear me, see me, feel me.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's so hard for a projector because they can see the solution.
Mm.
So like you were saying, some of us are banging our head against the wall. Their projector can see why you banging your head against the wall, and they want to tell you. You're like, but I didn't ask you. So they sometimes it gets to the point, well, stop telling me about it. Stop bringing it to my attention then.
And herein lies the conflict.
And they're allowed to do that because they have to protect their energy too. Because I'm spending my energy and my resources looking at you banging your head on the wall,
Mhm.
and I love you, and I don't want you to bang your head on the wall. And I
Mm.
see how you can stop, but
Mm.
you don't really want to stop yet, because if you wanted to stop, you would ask. I had the solution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm just imagining, actually imagining the conflict between, let's say, a projector and a manifestor. Projector's like, I already know what you need to do. And the manifestor's like, don't tell me what to do.
Yes.
Conflict, conflict,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So let's go to the last one, the reflector. I want you to tell me the reflector who the reflector that knows his or herself and how they operate in a relationship, and then they're not knowing themselves and how they might come across. And I'll add my 2 cents, of course.
So similar to a projector, they can see things, but in a different manner. They feel into the environment. These are the natural people who read the room. So projectors want to say the thing. They have definition in their chart. So some type of energy, some type of power in their chart to vocalize and to express what they see. Reflectors have those same senses, but they need to sit with them longer, and they don't have a way to express it like a projector does. And so the reflector, when they come into the room, whatever the environment is,
Mhm.
they're going to reflect it back to them. So these people often end up being, if they're in a family or on a team, like the black sheep of the family, because they carry everyone's
Mm.
emotions, everyone's truths
Mhm.
on them.
Mm.
Even though they don't know that they're doing that, they're just reflecting back. And so if you're in a relationship with someone who
Mm.
is in their not self or who is self-destructive, that reflector is going to treat you like they treat you like you treat them. So automatically. So if you don't like a reflector,
Uh,
you don't like yourself. That's all
oh,
that's happening.
wow, that's incredible. Okay, so if I'm in a relationship with the reflector and I don't like what I'm seeing, I'm really seeing something in myself.
Reflector, you need to go start with the man in the mirror, like Michael
Mm,
Jackson said.
mhm. So that to me sounds like being in a relationship with a reflector who is not in their best self, okay, sounds rather judgmental. Might come off as a judgmental kind of partner. Is that fair?
That is fair. That is fair. But more you're gonna feel that they're not in alignment. You're gonna feel like you're not authentic. Reflectors get accused of being fake all the time. Oh, you're fake, you're two-faced it, you're this. but they're literally designed to be a chameleon and just reflect whatever's going around. So if
Mhm,
they're standing in front of an orange building, they'll turn orange, like a
mhm,
chameleon. And so if they're not aware that they're a reflector, um, again, they're going to try to behave like a generator. That's the default because just so many generators, those are the movers and the shakers and the go-getters. So everyone wants to be the one that's doing the thing.
mhm, mhm,
And so
mhm.
when manifestors, projectors, and reflectors don't know that that's not the way they move, every the generators and everyone else is going to read them as inauthentic.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I would imagine that it's easy to stay in an argument with a reflector because the reflector's gonna they're giving back what you're putting out, and there's a constant back and forth until, we're just exhausted of arguing. But it sounds to me that that would be, again, in talking about bringing out the conflicts in relationships, that that's someone you can constantly be in an argument with about something or the other. I said this. Well, I said that. Well, I'm only saying what you said. I mean, I can see it, the battering back and forth.
you got it. You got it. Now, as now they're going to get tired after a while because they don't have any definition in their human design chart, no energy to pull from.
Mm,
So they need a lot of naps,
mhm,
just as projectors and manifestors do. But yes, you literally arguing with yourself or like maybe a brick wall. Then
mm,
this is again the reflector that's in their not self. They don't know that they're a reflector. They don't know that they need to take time away from the partner. Allow your reflectors to go and literally cleanse their energy. Just like we wash our hands, reflectors need to wash their energy. They
mm.
need to go take a nap, go do yoga, go for a walk in the forest. They need to get you off of them
Wow.
so they can have their own thoughts, their own gut responses, because everything is a reflection of you. So they need to be away from you so they can decide what's best for them.
Mm,
Um, so manifestors move instantly. Manifesting generators and generators respond yes or no immediately. Some are emotional, so they may need to sleep on it. Manifestors as well. Projectors, we are minding our drinking water and minding our business. People invite us, say, "Hey, come look at me, help me with this thing, or give me insight about this and your natural area of expertise." And then we decide, are we going to accept that invitation to help them or not? And then the reflector needs more time
mm,
because they go into an environment, they become a chameleon, these people are literally circumstances or victims of their environment.
mm,
And so they come into an environment, they absorb everything, and then they need time. Human design says about 30 days, so about a moon cycle to get everyone's else energy out of them
mhm,
they could decide what's best for me. So when they get into a relationship, thinking about getting into a relationship, taking a new job, relocating, the reflector needs to detach from whoever they're around as much as possible. I understand, people live life every day, but as much as possible, just every day for about a month, and write down who you are when the other person is not there, what you're thinking and what you're feeling when the other person is not there, so you could get a clear picture on what what your body is telling you was best for you.
So I can imagine in a relationship, in a marriage, that the spouse married to a reflector doesn't understand why the reflector needs to be by themselves that much. Like, what, you don't care about me? You don't want to be with me? But the reflector needs some downtime, some alone time. And it's not an offense, it's just their way that they are designed. Yes?
Yes. Like you have to remember they are human beings too, having their own experience. And
Mhm.
being in a relationship with someone, they are literally energetically consumed with you.
Mm,
So think of a mother and a child, a newborn. That mother is consumed by that baby. So now imagine, I'm a grown man or a grown woman. I'm 30 or 50 or 65 years old. I'm entering in a relationship or I've been married for 20 years, whatever the case is. But it's the same energy of being attached to your newborn baby all the time.
mhm,
And you know how mothers say, well, I've lost myself since, I become a mother. I don't feel like myself. That's a reflector's life all the time. So they need, just like new mothers, we'll say, hey, drop them off at grandma's house.
Mhm,
Go ahead and go back to work if you want to, and get a daycare. So similar advice to the reflector. Still live your life, be in your relationships, but you have to center yourself so you can know, am I still supposed to be in this relationship? Am I still supposed to be at this job?
mhm.
Because you are designed, you're allowed to grow and evolve like everyone else.
It's clear to me that one way to reduce conflict in a marriage so that hopefully it does not end up in a divorce. And if it does end up in a divorce, to reduce the conflict that naturally happens in a divorce is for each person in that relationship to know and understand their human design energy and their partners or ex-partners, however you want to say it.
Mhm.
And I know that there are some asking, well, how do I get to know my human design type? Tell me, tell me, tell me. You all are talking about it. Well, tell me, how do I know? And your answer would be,
You can go to satorisynergy.com, SATORISYNERGY.com, and backslash chart.
mhm,
You will enter your information. It's not a personality test. I'm not asking you any questions about yourself, which is fine because, excuse me, those record what you're consciously aware of.
mm,
Human design is two-sided. And that's why I name our company Satori Synergy, because we look at both sides of you, what you're aware of and what you're not aware of.
mm,
And we synergize them so you could be your best self, your whole self.
mhm, mhm,
And so the other part that we look at by not asking you questions is your unconscious or your subconscious. And we just pull that directly from your birthday.
mm,
So just like you were born, with a fingerprint and a blood type, your birthday gives us energetic information that you can't be biased about when you're answering the questions.
yeah.
And so it's objective, um, social scientific data, and we use that information to help you become aware of yourself, so you know how to show up as your best self, and you can finally get a grip on how other people experience you.
Mhm,
So in real time, you can use the advice I give you based on your specific type and strategy and authority. There's a lot of nuances I get into because my advice is very directed to the person. It's not general advice like we're talking about here today.
yeah.
And and then in real time, you could begin to practice and experiment. It's like, wow, Erica, that worked. All I did was say this, and they did this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
So every person listening, if you have not done the human design analysis, I want you to go to satorisynergy.com/chart. Put
Mhm.
in your information. Again, it's going to be your date of birth, time of birth, and location of your birth, which will tell you, Erica, whether they're a manifestor generator, projector, reflector. Did I get all those
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And that is the starting place of tremendous knowledge about how you operate in this on this earth and in the relationships that you're in, specifically since we're talking today about marriage and hopefully not leading to divorce, but if it does, you still can benefit from knowing that knowledge. And I want to add a plug for you because it's not enough to just know, oh yeah, I'm a manifestor, oh yeah, I'm a reflector. You need to know what that knowing is and the specific nuances about that. For example, for me, I'm a manifestor, and when I am not in my best self, I am angry. I wouldn't know that just without having had a conversation with you and about what that means. And I also know as a manifester, because I may be perceived, people may find me, oh, she goes from one thing to another. She was first here and now she's someplace else. She's so flighty. She's so, okay. That if I don't inform what I'm wanting to do in this relationship or where I'm going, then it can cause a great deal of frustration. I didn't know this, had no idea. Okay. So, sitting with you, Erica, and understanding the uniqueness of this woman here It was a entire game changer. The way I go about relationships now is so different than what those relationships were like when I was married, first and second marriage. And that is the value here because I now understand that when I'm not in my best self, when I'm trying to be a generator, when
Right.
I'm not, I help co-create conflict in my relationships.
Yes. Yes, and we all do in our not self. Um, and yeah, so when I say not self, I'm just saying not aligned. People talk about alignment all the time. This became a popular word in the last several years for some reason. But yeah, this alignment, you align with your energetic mechanics.
Mhm,
So mechanics, like a car. I literally, so your human design chart allows me to open the hood of your car, and
mhm,
I tell you what your connections are,
mhm.
your circuitry, your energetic circuitry, how
Yeah.
everything works. And then I
Mhm,
take you inside your car and I tell you, this push this button, don't push that button. If you do,
mhm,
this is what's going to happen. Or if I tell you, hey, you push this button thinking you're going to roll the window down, but your windshield wipers come on. This is
mhm.
why.
Yeah.
Here's how you correct that.
Mm.
And yeah, so that's what I do. I do know people who I have clients that have come to me. It's like, well, I do know my human design type. Um, but when I came across you, I'm finally able to understand it and apply it in real life. You're able to translate it in a way that I can use it in everyday life.
Yeah.
So one it's like I've been knowing I was the manifesting generator for 5 years now. And I'm just thinking like, oh my God, where were you 5 years ago? Uh,
Yeah. Facts.
I could have moved differently in my career or my marriage or my motherhood or whatever. And they had their chart. And
Mm.
it's like it was just, it just looked like a chart. I didn't know what to do with the chart.
Yeah.
So I'm they're
Well,
thankful that I could translate it for them.
and I would say that anyone who is in a marriage where there is conflict and you're on the brinks, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know that this is going to work. I'm ready to be out. At minimum, you must know your human design type and get the analysis. And at maximum, to your partner to do the same so that you two can see where the sticking points are because you're understanding yourself, you're understanding the other person, and you're understanding the unit that you're in or the unit you're trying to get out of, whichever way you want to see it. But I think that this knowing your human design and knowing your partner's human design is the foundation of a peaceful relationship. And in fact, I'm gonna go as far as to say, perhaps you might want to wait on getting married until you both know this important data about yourselves. I'm gonna go that far.
That I like it. I like it. I know people that have you made me think of a couple that I had as clients. They practice two different religions. Human design is not a belief system, so any religion or culture can benefit from it.
Mhm.
So this couple, they were two different religions, and they were on. They had tried to do all the things, marital counseling. They went to his religious leader for counseling. They went to her religious leader for counseling. Um, just traditional talk therapy. They did all the things, and they just couldn't get it together.
Mhm.
And so I had the wife come to me first. She's like, tell me about this human design stuff. So I was counseling and consulting her, teaching her about her human design. And after it was about 3 or 4 months, her husband began to notice how she showed up differently. She didn't really, speak to him about it. She was just, her husband knew she would get on the Zoom with me every, so often, about twice a month. And but she wouldn't speak to him about it, other than that. And so about 3 or 4 months, the husband was like, "Hey, you're different. You're easier to talk to.
Mm.
I feel like you're the woman I fell in love with again,"
Yeah.
is what she told me that he said. And then he began to come and be my client. I did him individually first as well, and then they came together, and I taught them about each other. Uh,
I
and
love
they're back on track.
oh, that is such a wonderful story, and I don't know, did they have children by chance, you know?
No, no, they're uh, late 20s,
Okay.
about well, one is 32 and one's about 28, so
Okay, I was just gonna it's a wonderful story, period, and it even more wonderful if children were in the mix, that they got that straight so that the children didn't could benefit from the peace that that couple,
yeah,
discovered by learning their human design type, you know, I always go back to how conflict hurts children. Being a mother of four, having gone through a divorce, it pains me, and so I'm always looking for and wanting to know and apply ways that the conflict between couples can be minimized, reduced for the sake of the kids. And this is human design. Knowing your human design type um, is certainly one of those ways to bring about peace to the children as well. Well, next, let's call this part one.
okay,
And then part two, when we get together again, I want to go into the five love languages and how knowing your love language and your partner's love language is also a way to bring about peace and reduce conflict. And we're going to weave the two together, the human design and the five love languages, so that we can help people evolve. We're all about E3 is about evolving, right? Ultimately, emotional empowerment,
yeah.
emotional intelligence equals evolving or evolution. And that's where we're trying to get everyone to be a higher version, better version of themselves. Erica, did you want to say anything else before we say bye bye?
I don't. I am just enjoying witnessing and being a part of your manifester urges and initiations, and I'm happy to be along the ride. And so these conversations are always fascinating to me. You know, we just hop on and we chat, and I'm glad we're at a place where we've invited other people to witness this, and in case it helps them. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to next time, since you're calling this you said part
Part
one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to part two, because I know you're going to share your area of expertise about emotional intelligence. Because yeah, being aware of your type is one thing, and of course, I teach you your strategy of how to communicate and show up as your best self, but also in real time, digging deep into that emotional intelligence, and having the love language to speak to each other. That is the icing on the cake. And so I'm looking forward to experiencing that with you next time.
that sounds great. And I'll just say this my last word is this, that I think of the different energy types, I think the next marriage for me would be with a projector. I'm a right? Put that out into the universe.
Well, I
Projectors.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, my second marriage is to a projector. I didn't know my first husband or my second husband's human design type before we
Yeah,
married. My first marriage, I didn't even know my type. So my second marriage, I knew my type, and I was operating as an aware, aligned projector.
mm,
And so I came in cleaner, and he had done work. He didn't know about human design, but he had done work already on himself,
yeah,
about self awareness and things. And
yeah,
so I was able to connect or pick a more aligned partner, based on self-awareness. So, like I said, I knew when I was practicing and experimenting with my human design, um, but that's not what I led with. I didn't like asking for his chart. Like, hi, first day, what's your chart? I mean, you can. I
yeah.
mean, that's the thing. But that's not what I needed. I knew myself, and I knew I was able to scan relationships and potentials based on, how it felt in my body as a projector. And so, yeah, if you're gonna lead with getting a projector, make sure they're aware and aligned, because they're gonna come in and try to be a generator or a manifester, and you're gonna feel it's gonna feel icky, or sound like static.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I'm glad you said that because not only am I going to make sure they know what their human design type is. Thou musteth have an analysis by Satori Synergy. Okay. And then two, we must know your emotional intelligence score. I need to know how emotionally intelligent you are by way of being assessed. I'm happy to assess you. I can do that. But those two pieces of information, how powerful that would be in making the choice for someone you want to spend the rest of your life with. That,
Absolutely.
yeah, game changer. All right, Erica, I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for hanging out with me.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.